Through, and it was blowing pretty good, thunder and lightning, and I was talking to the neighbor, and
the mic's on.
Fire damages of Mandarin apartment complex. Could lightning be the blame?
An attack on a Jacksonville Beach woman brings up new concerns about transients.
Plus, warrant issued to a 10-year-old Orange Park kid who's headed to college.
ABC Tonight starts now.
Live. This is ABC25 Tonight.
Heavy shower.
No, it's cold open.
And a recent dry spell, or are they just the beginning of a season of violent storms?
Good evening, I'm Donna Severies.
And I'm Keith Kuntz. Violent storms may be to blame for an apartment house fire in Mandarin.
A unit in Copper Manor Apartments caught fire this afternoon. Now investigators believe it may have been sparked by lightning.
storm came through, and it was blowing pretty good, thunder and lightning, and I was talking to the neighbor, and we heard the lightning hit, and we both said it hit something close, and about 10 minutes later, they was clearing the place out. So
no one was hurt, but fire did damage one apartment. 3 others sustained smoke and water damage. Are the storms over for the night, or are there more to come?
Chief Meteorologist Brian Albrecht with more details. Brian?
Brian
ad-libs.
Blah, blah, blah.
A worker at the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is on the wrong side of the law tonight. Donald Taft admits to ripping off items from the supply room to sell on the street. He took more than $300 worth of detergent, boots, and film. But now what's surprising is how Taft was hired at JSO. ABC has learned that Taft has a long criminal history, and he's been arrested 7 times over the past decade for the assault, shoplifting, theft, aggravated assault, and other crimes. Taft was convicted 5 times in the past 12 years for robbery, domestic battery, theft, and driving with a suspended license. JSO tells us they knew about Taft's record but hired him anyway.
St. Johns County police arrest 2 men for the murder of a New Jersey trucker. Robert Bakley Jr. was killed Sunday night at this truck stop off of I-95. It's the one at County Road 210. Police arrested Eric Spencer and Joseph Flesher last night. They say the men killed Bakley after an altercation on the interstate. This man, Carl James of Jacksonville, will avoid jail time for a deadly drunk driving crash. Adams was driving more than 100 miles an hour on JTB when the crash last December. His passenger, Kenneth Kiln, died in the crash. Adams will now serve 2 years house arrest and pay Klein's family $1,000 a month for 15 years. The family of a St. Johns County boy who killed his father makes an emotional plea to the Clemency Board. Casey Mason Butts shot his father to death in 1994. His family says Casey, just 16 years old, feared his abusive father, but prosecutors say they found no evidence of abuse. It could be 2 or 3 weeks until the board makes a decision.
4 homeless men were behind bars accused of a brutal gang rape in Jacksonville Beach. A 21-year-old woman says they attacked her Tuesday night. She says they harassed her on a city bus. When she got off the bus, the men did as well. Then they're accused of following her across the street, tackling her, and then pulling her into a wooded area where the rapes occurred. Tonight, police are still looking for a 5th suspect. Police say there are more than 100 transients in Jacksonville Beach. It is a problem with no clear solution in sight. Susan Biggers now joins us from the beach with more on the story. Susan?
They are as common as the sand and surf, transients at Jacksonville Beach.
They're everywhere, day, night, they're always here.
Kelly Broach shows an out-of-town friend the sights, but warns the beach is off limits at night, especially after hearing that police have arrested 4 transients for allegedly raping a woman.
It's very discouraging for me. I heard it on the news last night, and the first thing you think is there goes the neighborhood.
John Delaney runs a small pizzeria.
They're transients.
Jacksonville police spent a third day searching the waters off Northside Creek. An angler says she found an arm of an African-American woman in the water last weekend, but police have not found any body parts. The creek is located just a few miles away from the home of a missing elderly woman. Arlene Smith disappeared 2 weeks ago. Her grandson, Lamar Anderson, has been questioned in connection with her disappearance.
The case of a missing Putnam County man is closed. Police found the body of 21-year-old Jose Guerva last night in the Silver Pond. That's just outside Crescent City. Guerva drowned trying to retrieve fishing gear from the pond. Drowned. Thank you.
Other news around Florida. Miami police are looking for a 29-year-old man who's accused of setting his uncle on fire.
Miami police say the man stabbed his uncle with a sword. Then he dragged him to the front lawn, doused him with gasoline, and lit a match. His uncle died with burns over 50% of his body. Family members say the suspect has a history of mental illness. Gainesville police are trying to find out who's distributing pornographic tapes over the internet. The tapes are from a party held by the Delta Chi fraternity. The frat was kicked off the University of Florida campus in February. A stripper at that party claimed she was raped. And in Polk County, a Dundee police chief and 2 sergeants are accused of sexual misconduct.
Additional allegations against the officers include sexual discrimination, negligence hiring, and a failure to investigate crimes.
Jacksonville police arrest a 13-year-old student at Matthew Gilbert Middle School. They say he brought a .22 caliber revolver to school in a plastic bag. The bag also contained marijuana. The boy told police another student gave the bag to him.
And some end of the school hijinks in Duval County. Vandal strike Ribault Middle School on the north side. According to school officials, someone poured juice and coffee creamer on a typewriter and some computer equipment. They believe the vandal or vandals came in through an unlocked door. A Georgia school district has a new plan to cut down on campus crime. Starting next year, school police in Cobb County will start carrying weapons. It's true. The police board will voted to let campus cops to wear service revolvers in the county's middle and high schools. The district also okayed a plan to buy a dog to specially train to detect dugs and explosives.
Some people say the best way to keep a youngster out of trouble is to keep them busy, like with a part-time job. But with so many teens out there and more people living in this area than ever before, why are there so many help wanted signs out there?
There's so many people moving here, and yet you can't find people to do these jobs. Why is that?
That's a good question. There's a lot of jobs out there. Like I said, as more restaurants are coming into the area, everyone's just competing for the same number of folks.
Joe Hanania runs Joseph's Restaurant, which is now hiring all positions. The cafe's neighbors are also advertising for hairstylists, Sunday drivers, and just plain help. The problem is the robust economy. There are few people out of work and new businesses cropping up every day. It's a workers' market, and the workers.
Some First Coast folks are upset with the U.S. Navy.
In particular, a historical center in Green Coast Springs, and it all has to do with a boat. We'll explain coming up.
Plus, a touching story of a young genius living right here on the First Coast. But first, emotions run high on the last day of school.
Happiest day of my life. Got to ride my bike to school for the last day of school and everything. We had a blast today.
Live from ABC25, Keith Coons, Donna Severino.